We've got a lot to discuss on today's episode of the MeidasTouch Podcast. You have Donald Trump praising the Ayatollah after a $28 billion nuclear deal was announced between Iran and Russia. Also, when Donald Trump was not praising the Ayatollah, he was falling asleep during this bizarre Oval Office press conference. Donald Trump had disappeared for about 8 days, and since he has surfaced, he has not been looking too good, and the things that he's been saying even more deranged than before. Also, we saw Trump regime cabinet officials one by one falling under brutal cross-examination at Senate and House of Representative hearings. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins, brutal cross-exams. We'll show you what went down there. Also, a war powers resolution passed in the House of Representatives to block Donald Trump's unlawful and catastrophic war in Iran. A procedural vote to proceed on the war powers resolution previously passed in the Senate. So the actual war powers resolution would need to pass in the Senate. Trump could still veto it, but it does send a very powerful message when you have both the House and the Senate declaring Trump's war in Iran to be unlawful, catastrophic, and we see each day the problems compounding as Donald Trump pretends that there is no war taking place. And of course, since the last time we've done a MeidasTouch podcast, we've seen massive escalation with the United States striking areas in the Strait of Hormuz, Iran responding by striking an air base of the United States military in Kuwait, and also the international airport terminal in Kuwait. CENTCOM first claimed that there was actually no targets that were hit by Iran, right? A CENTCOM message said everything was great. Our interceptors and the interceptors of Kuwait were able to stop any of the incoming drones and ballistic missiles. We reported shortly thereafter, like, we think CENTCOM's lying, to which I know a lot of people responded, what do you mean you think CENTCOM's lying? Like, why are you saying things that we're not hearing anywhere else? Because I don't know, I'm watching video of what the airport looks like, and it looks like the airport was hit and it's on fire. And then the next day, it was undeniable what happened. At least one person was killed in the airport, an Indian national. At least 63 people were injured. That number may be understating things as well. And of course, that follows a U.S. soldier being killed in northern Iraq, a U.K. soldier being killed in northern Iraq, which CENTCOM claims was caused by military training exercises. Also, the U.S. Fifth Naval Fleet in Bahrain was targeted by Iran as well, and American military assets there were significantly damaged. And so the bottom line is we need a war powers resolution to block this catastrophic and unlawful war. And with each day that passes, things are just getting worse. And we are now getting very, very dangerously close to hitting kind of rock bottom of the oil reserves. And I know I keep raising this red flag, but we're like a week and a half away from really running out of the kind of threshold number in our oil reserves, where all of a sudden you then see a dramatic spike. So we'll cover that as well. There's also a screw worm outbreak killing cattle. There's a measles and Ebola outbreak that's killing people. And Donald Trump wants to focus on our reflecting pool that he thinks is his pool, that he's turning bright blue, which he keeps on saying is larger than skyscrapers. Okay, I don't even understand the comparison. What are you talking about? A horizontal pool is taller than vertical skyscrapers. Just the most ridiculous thing ever. Also, Donald Trump posted moments before we went live that he's definitely canceling all musical concerts in connection with America's 250th birthday, and then it's going to be a disgusting Trump rally. And speaking of disgusting and Trump, Ivanka and Jared Kushner are trying to take over an island in Albania. And the Albanian people are protesting that. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people in Albania have taken to the streets to say, get these people away. We don't need another Epstein Island over here. We don't want a Trump Island over here in one of our most kind of protected and beautiful islands. And then you have like Ivanka saying, I discovered this island when I was on a boat with a Rothschild heir. She said she discovered the island when she was on a $100 million yacht owned by a Rothschild heir. I must have the Albanian island, Daddy and Jared. I must have the Albanian island. The people there are not having it. And then Eddie Rama, the prime minister, or the leader rather of Albania, is out there. He's like, there's no project. It's not happening. What are you talking about? It's just all the things you see here, the $4 billion project. No, don't believe it. We'll talk about that and more on the MeidasTouch podcast. Brett and Jordy, how you guys doing?
Doing well. Good to see you, Ben. Good to see you, Jordy. Good to see you, Midas Mighty. Everybody who's tuning in live, everybody who's listening, whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever audio apps you get the show. Thank you for tuning in. It's a regular Magellan there, folks. Ivanka, discovering islands. Wow, very, very impressive, Ivanka. Amazing talent in that family. I got to say.
Papa, can I have that Albanian island, Mr. Rothschild? Mr. Rothschild, can I have that one, Papa? Does that belong to me?
If I made the scenario up, I think you should be like, okay, Rothschild, reel it in a little bit. Like, that's a little extreme. What a freaking mess. You know, as I listen to your intro, the one thing I can't help but think about is, like, I never realized how everything apparently in the country and in the world was basically hanging by a thread. And thankfully we had smart people who were keeping everything in check and keeping things going on, like keeping screwworm out of the United States of America and keeping Ebola under control and doing all these things. Then all of a sudden you put these incompetent fools in who think they could just tweet their way out of issues, and suddenly everything is on fire everywhere you look. I mean, who would have thought? But in all seriousness, I feel like things are a lot more fragile than most people thought, probably in a pre-Trump world. But here we are. There's a lot to get through today. And so I think we should really kind of just get into it. But first, got to check in with the J-Man. Jordy, what's the latest?
Brothers, Midas Mighty, what's going on? Pumped to get into today's show. Brett, you're so right. I mean, look, it's why I say it maybe too often on the show. It's why we need real adults in the room making real decisions and not just like haphazardly deciding what to do based on vibes, which is, I think, what we're seeing out of this Trump regime. A lot to get into today. Benji, where are we starting off, big bro?
Yeah, I mean, it's not shocking though, Brett, right? I mean, everything kind of hangs by threads. Like we hang by threads, right? Like just think about us. Like if I'm recording, right, and all of a sudden I just started like taking this pen and just started like jamming the pen into me, like I'm going to be hurt, right? And I could say, no, I'm not hurt. This is normal, everybody.
Be careful.
This is normal. This is normal, everybody. But what do you think happens when you inflict pain upon yourself that every expert says to you, hey, Ben, if you do that, you're going to cause pain. You're going to rupture things, right? People are saying, hey, when you do tariffs against the world, you are applying a tax on yourself. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. That's what a freaking tariff is. Stop it. And then you have the Trump sycophants who are all like, no, it's actually a tax on the other country. No, that's literally not what it is. You know, something that they announced today when we talk about this press conference, we're going to invoke the Defense Production Act, this like wartime Cold War era authority, in order to help coal plants while we destroy clean energy. And because we don't like the word green, we don't like Green New Deal, we don't like the idea of anything unless it's like dirty, we don't like that. So we're going to destroy wind and we're going to destroy solar, all the things that are being invested in by other countries, not just to do the right thing for the environment, but to make money. And it's like, okay, we're going to do that. We're going to go to war with Iran because Netanyahu says so. And then we're not going to even think through the second and third level consequences that maybe the Strait of Hormuz is going to be closed. And then while the Strait of Hormuz is closed, our grand plan is to do a blockade on a blockade and then declare that there's a victory and that there's a ceasefire while a war is literally taking place still to this day, but we're just going to say ceasefire. And then when prices continue to go up because there actually isn't a real ceasefire. And guess what? The Strait of Hormuz had hundreds of tankers leaving every day, and now that's not happening. That's going to have consequences, not just when it comes to the price of crude, but also the price of fertilizers, also the price and supply of helium and other things that we need to like run our country and function. So all of these things, Brett, as you mentioned at the beginning, everything is hanging by a thread. That's life sometimes. And that's why on this show, what we talk about very frequently beyond the kind of gamification of politics is you need adults and you need experts, the same way that you wouldn't go see a individual who has no medical experience to help you with issues regarding your heart, where you need to see a cardiologist expert. You're not going to pick some trust fund kid who has no clue about intelligence and the intelligence community to become the head of the ODNI, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, and give somebody classified information who, before being appointed to work at some obscure housing agency that he weaponized to go after Donald Trump's enemies by saying everybody didn't do their mortgage documents correctly and deserved to be politically and criminally prosecuted. The guy was out there doing these like weird meme stock conventions where he was like with these like weird dudes hitting each other with dildos and giving themselves trophies with, they said, tramp stamps, and that like he likes them young. And I don't want to show that video again, but you've got this guy now leading the ODNI, and to me, there's just core competency issues right here. And there's issues of just needing the facts and needing the truth. And this Trump regime, they can try to sell this alternate reality, but guess what? The rest of the world isn't buying it, and we're feeling the consequences, take place every day. I want to go over those consequences. I want to talk about what's happening, but I'll go out of order from where I thought the show was going to go. I mean, why don't we just start off by showing you? I mean, I'll show you first what Ivanka said, because while you and I just want to show you, oh, Ivanka, look, she's a horrible human. Yes, she's a horrible human. Jared Kushner's a horrible human. These are terrible, terrible people. But the point is that while you're out there struggling to pay your rent, while you are having your health care ripped away from you, as the May job numbers showed, 97,000 jobs were cut in May, the most since 2020, while people are out there suffering and can't buy gas or groceries or can't afford anything, and it's going to get much worse. You have Ivanka out there making these weird videos that look like they're from Demolition Man. Remember that movie with Wesley Snipes? It looks like some dystopian futuristic thing. And she's out there and she's like, hey, I want to let you know about this island I discovered. Everybody knows that I love adventure. And so I was out there. And she says all of these, like, there's all these, like, this language that she's using and that Jared used. I don't even know, like, I know they're speaking English, but they're like just name dropping all of these like islands and things that are just not accessible to most human beings. I'm like, what are you even talking about? Can we just get someone healthcare, please? Can we get the American people the ability to live and not die so we can have affordable healthcare? Watch Ivanka.
I'm working on an incredible project with my husband in the Mediterranean. It's massive in scale.
I think that's an understatement. Can you explain?
Yes, it is.
There's no power on this island. You're building everything from scratch. Correct.
Well, it's an unbelievable, beautiful 1,400 hectare private island in the middle of the Mediterranean. We were on a friend's boat and we stopped for a swim. Effectively, that's how we found it. We swam to the island. We went on a hike barefoot all the way up to the top, and we were just captivated.
And now I'll show you what Jared Kushner had to say. Here, play this clip of Jared.
I was on a vacation after we left government in the summer of 2021. We were on our friend Nat Rothschild's boat. We got picked up in Montenegro, and then we started sailing over to Corfu, and we spent a couple days in Albania. One of the nights there, Prime Minister Rama came to the boat. I had not met him when I was in government, but I was very, very impressed with his vision for what he wanted to do with Albania. I really didn't know anything about the country. I didn't understand the history, and the darkness of the history with the communism and the terrible leadership actually led to it being fully undeveloped as a nation. But Eddie came in. He has one of the cool things I was attracted to is the fact that he seemed like a very skilled politician, as a very strong and smart leader, but also the fact that he was an artist. I thought it'd be very cool to see what a country really led and built by an artist could be.
Now, let me be very clear. This island, they didn't discover it. It's an island in Albania that is well known. It's known for its ecological landscapes, and this area, there was not any, you were not allowed to develop this island purposefully because it had flamingos and seals and all of these incredible, animals and wildlife. And it was a point of pride for the people. And then you have, Jared Kushner, and you had Ivanka right there basically saying, no, that we discovered it on the Rothschilds yacht. Like, that's what they're talking about. And then the prime minister of Albania, Edi Rama, who you just heard them say, he goes on CNN, and here's what he has to say. Let's play it.
In this protest, there are well-meaning people, young people, interested genuinely to the environment, that have been misled big time. There is not such a thing like a Trump family Ireland. There is not such a thing like the family of the American president taking over protected areas where flamingos will be killed by them. These are all stories that, of course, get traction, but can't be farther from the truth.
I wonder why they would get traction. Where would we get this idea from that they were doing this island? How would we get such an idea, Brett? I mean, was it possible that Jared and Ivanka would be the ones promoting that? And look, I don't want to belabor Jared and Ivanka. You get the point. But they are pushing that. It's a intentional decision that they want to push that in your face while you are out there suffering. And they're doing projects like this in Belgrade, where there were protests, in Australia, where there are protests. They're doing one in Tbilisi. They're going up and they're cutting deals also with the most corrupt people as well, in order to further enrich themselves. And that's kind of Donald Trump in a nutshell as well. While that was going on, you have Trump in the Oval Office today.
Hold on. It's like, we got to say something. I think, ultimately, when you look at what's going on there, though, it's the perfect representation of the global oligarchy that we're seeing, right? And just the disdain at which they look at normal people. I think it's interesting because throughout this entire second Trump term, Jared and Ivanka have really kind of been on the back burner. Now, Jared got very involved once the Middle East war, once that all heated up, and Jared is now like this unelected bureaucrat making some of the most important decisions while he is heavily invested in the Middle East that has all of these conflicts of interest. Somehow, some way, he has been thrust into the middle of these negotiations with zero oversight. I think that is absolutely appalling. But you don't even see Kushner go on TV to speak about this stuff. In the first term, you'd see him at press briefings. In the first term, he was a public-facing guy. At this point, he's really not. Nor is Ivanka. Ivanka's almost tried to separate herself in a lot of ways from the Trump brand, almost to a point where she's kind of pretending not even to be Donald Trump's daughter. Like, she is so distanced from what is happening in the White House this term compared to past terms. But I think what we are seeing this term compared to the last Donald Trump term, amongst Ivanka, Don Jr., Eric, really all of them, is I think they've kind of realized, we could get away with all this stuff, the grift we could get if we just have like a slightly lower profile and we aren't out there in the White House every day. We aren't at the press briefings. We aren't at the events, but we'll just do our thing. We'll invest in these companies that are going to get contracts with the United States government. We're going to invest in a drone company here. We're going to sell this product there. And that is the strategy that they've used. And so I think it's actually quite fascinating that Ivanka and Jared wanted to kind of announce this project in the way that they did. But when you also track the history of this project, like Ben said, it was protected land. It was only fast-tracked after Donald Trump won the election. It is the perfect representation of all this global corruption that we've seen, and all these leaders and CEOs and lawyers who at the beginning of the Trump regime started immediately capitulating to Donald Trump and offering all these things. We saw it in the first Trump term a lot with like China, right? China fast-tracked the Ivanka patents. There was a lot of stuff like that. That has been supercharged this term. And the fact that a head of state of government can give away a public piece of land to Donald Trump's relatives so that they could build their own weirdo island for them to do God knows what on. To me, it just shows the moral rot and the oligarchical rot that we are seeing, not just in the US, but that's connected in this way across the world.
Well said, B. I don't really have much nuance to add to this conversation other than the fact that if you watch those videos for our audio listeners, like I really want you to go to the YouTube and watch those videos. Jared and Ivanka, they look like AI. Like they just deeply look like soulless creatures as they're up there. And you're so right. Yeah. As you're watching that video, you're like, what are these words? Like, what are they even saying? Is this your first time speaking? Honestly, it is so like beyond anything. And I think, something deeper here is what we could probably see. Again, I hate doing these dumb little predictions here, but it's just like, what seems to be criminality to a certain degree, maybe within the family when it comes to certain investments that they're making. I think they're all just kind of banking on the fact that they know that they're going to get a blanket pardon when Trump leaves office in 28. And so, Brett, to your point, right, there are no consequences for these children right now, at least as they see them. And I hate calling them children. They're grown-ass adults. I
am telling you right now,
the oldest president of the United States, they're his kids. So I refer to them as children, but they're grown-ass adults. They know exactly what they're doing.
I'm going to say it's a safe bet, Jordy, that you are right, that at the end of this Trump term, that there will be a flurry of pardons like we have never seen. And of course, he's going to use the justification of, well, Biden did this, Biden did that, I'm allowed to. His are going to far exceed anything we have ever seen, ever. And by the way, I will defend Biden's pardons to the end. He was exactly right to do what he did because he knew who Donald Trump was and he acted accordingly.
Yeah, well, as you note, Jordy, like, yes, they are speaking seemingly in English, but that's like some Epstein class language.
Yeah,
that Ivanka and Jared are speaking to. Like those words, I know that those are words that do exist. So we were off the coast of Montenegro, and then there was on the Rothschilds yacht. I'm like, what words?
A lot of these videos that come across your feed now, you got to do these double takes, and you're like, is this AI? This must be AI.
Just Brett, play the first 15. I'm gonna move past this, but play the first 15 seconds of Jared again or so until just play the first 15 seconds.
I was on a vacation after we left government in the summer of 2021. We were on our friend Nat Rothschild's boat. We got picked up in Montenegro, and then we started sailing over to Corfu, and we spent a couple days in Albania. One of the nights there, Prime Minister Rama came to the boat. I had not met.
All right, it's ridiculous. I mean, that's what I said. I was 2021. I had just finished the government. I was on Nat Rothschild's boat, and we were leaving off the coast of Montenegro, and we were sailing, and we passed Corfu. And then I noted, is that Albania, right? I'm going, dude, what world is this? What are you even talking about? And, and dude, most Americans right now are like, I want to be able to pay my rent. And these are the idiots right here who are the reason that I can't. Yeah, and it's Jared Kushner right now who's out there speaking with the Iranians. And what do you think they're talking about? Like Jared Kushner and the Iranians are like, dude, what are they talking? They want to do a real estate deal? Could you imagine when Foreign Minister Araghchi has to actually go to the Ayatollah and pass these ideas that Steve Witkoff and Kushner are doing? Like they're talking about like, and the Iranian side, they're thinking these conversations are going to be about like real specific, meticulous details on nuclear grade dilution and multilateral mechanisms to ensure IAEA compliant, and the Ayatollah's like, all right, what do we got? They want to develop condominiums in Tehran, and they're hoping that we can fast track an 87.
And by the way, this is like a hypothetical.
No,
this isn't like a satirical thing. This is something that actually happened. Like, because this was something that was buried at the bottom of one of these New York Times stories about the previous negotiations, when they're like, it's about to get done, folks. This is it. It's really going to happen this time. You know, Lucy with the football yet again. And there was a quote, I pulled it up right here, where it said Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, who have been integral, I put this part, who have been integral to the failed negotiations in the Iran war, have, quote, suggested promoting real estate projects in Tehran and an investment fund in the event that a deal is reached. So that's their concern. And so think about the room, right? You got all these experts, nuclear experts, scientists, some of the most brilliant minds in the world that Iranian has, right, to speak about this issue. And then you have a bunch of real estate developers who want to develop properties and lands and condos and hotels. And they're asking the most basic of questions that's making the Iranian negotiators and the mediators going, what the fuck are these people saying? What are these people saying?
And it's like, it's like, and Trump and Witkoff, I mean, they think their strong arm real estate tactics from Manhattan and Queens is going to somehow persuade the Ayatollah. Come on, man. Come on, Ayatollah. I scratch your back. You scratch my back, Ayatollah. Don't make me bring in Johnny from the Bronx, Ayatollah. You know what I'm going to do to you, Ayatollah. And they're like, what? Who are these are a deranged group of people, and I'm referring to the Trump negotiating team. They're all crazier than the next, and they make the freaking Iranian regime negotiating team look like a very professional crew. And by the way, you know who's praising the Iranian team as like, okay, these are professional, Trump today. Let me just give you the quick sequence of events right here, because as Brett says, like, Ben, what you were saying, you were not like making that up to be like funny. I mean, maybe my tone and cadence reflected a sarcasm, but I was actually channeling what the actual discussions were. And so today you have Iran and Russia announce a $28 billion nuclear agreement where they're going to work on developing Iran's nuclear capabilities. So what more of a furtive, aggressive move can you make if you're Putin and Iran, when Donald Trump's like, we're going to get rid of the dust? And then Putin's like, okay, I raise you your dust, and I'm going to give $28 billion commitments to Iran to develop their nuclear material and to develop their nuclear capabilities. Now, whether that's a bluff or real, they announced that, okay? Pretty freaking aggressive, right? On the other hand, Donald Trump announced today that he's afraid to give Tomahawk missiles to Germany, who were promised these Tomahawk missiles, because he was scared that that may trigger Putin, who may be thinking that that's a way to escalate in Ukraine. So I'm just trying to understand this. So Putin's not afraid to announce a $28 billion nuclear agreement with Iran, but Trump is afraid to give Tomahawk missiles to Germany, who's buying it with money from American military companies for defensive purposes. So do we see what's going on right there? And then we have Donald Trump do this weird Oval Office presser, which I told you what it was about earlier. It was over activating the Defense Production Act to lean in on and invest more in open up coal plants, which were closed for reasons, while shutting down green new energy projects, okay, which are good for the economy and good for the environment. But at this, Donald Trump said, the Ayatollah has a great reputation. Here, watch Donald Trump. He's got a good reputation in some circles, actually. Here, play this clip.
Person. But with that being said, he's probably I don't know. He's probably a professional. In some circles, he has a very good reputation, actually. Sometimes some people say bad, but a lot of people say bad about me. It's totally false, of course. Mr.
President. No, it's like stupid Tony Soprano over there, right? It's like a stupid mob, like it's like the dumbest mob. You got what's it called? I would say the Three Stooges, but you got like the Eight Stooges behind them, and you've got like the lieutenants. I mean, just look at the people behind him. Why he's got a very good reputation. I hear the Ayatollah. I know some things about the Ayatollah. Now, I'm not saying I want to meet the Ayatollah, but if I was to meet the Ayatollah, I would tell the Ayatollah, look, I respect you, my man. Okay. I mean, it is the dumbest version of Sopranos meets. I can't even think of the fictitious meets Veep meets Game of Thrones meets the dumbest thing imaginable. While Donald Trump's falling, he's got the crew. Just imagine this crew
right here. This one.
Just imagine them wearing Adidas jumpsuits right there, basically, right? And then Donald Trump's like, I don't want to meet the Ayatollah, but if I didn't want to meet him, I'd be honored to meet him. I would tell you, Ayatollah, it's an honor. It's an honor. Okay, here, play this clip.
Know what we had to do.
And we heard you want to meet with the new Ayatollah, the new supreme leader.
I don't want to meet, but if I did meet, I'd be honored to meet him. I'd like to see if we make a deal. But if we make a deal, it's possible that I would meet him. I'd be okay with it.
Would that happen here in the U.S., White House?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't really heard too much about it. I didn't suggest it, but some people have suggested it. If it happened, it would happen. I'd be respectful.
The only thing that may be effective about this is just how psychotic it is. And it's not done. It's not like the crazy Ivan intentionally psychotic. No. But the only way you can construe it, though, like if you're the CIA, you're like, okay, well, we have a guy who's so psychotic. And when these messages are delivered back to the Ayatollah through the chain of command there, like I just truly have to wonder, like, what the reaction
it's
is.
Like when somebody isn't ruled guilty by a jury for a murder due to like the insanity defense. The Ayatollah's like, all right, well, this guy's killed my whole family. Yeah. He's killed a lot of people I know. Done a lot of really effed up things. But he's like clearly seriously mentally ill, right? Kind of like this guy is not super well.
He's falling asleep in these meetings, and if you watch those videos, he has a death grip over his right hand that he's desperately trying to cover up, and like corporate media is in there just pretending that like this is the face and body of good health. This is the oldest president we've ever had in this country. He is actively falling asleep during these meetings. The images are there. Sorry, GOP Twitter account. He's not blinking, no matter how much you want to gaslight us. And again, he has a death grip over this right hand because he is so embarrassed that he is literally decaying in front of our eyes. It's awful. And I'm not like saying this to make light of it or make jokes about it, but it's just where we are as a society where this corporate institutionalized media refuses to cover this portion of someone's clearly ailing and failing health, not to be used as an excuse down the line. Like there he is falling asleep during this meeting, like literally lights out for the audio listeners, eyes shut, laying down. But
look at the guy behind him. So you got
corporate media was just like, I need to always talk about Biden's health, right? And I hate even bringing it back there, but just here we are in 2026. Donald Trump is literally falling asleep in the Oval Office as he has a death grip over his right hand because it's rotting in front of our eyes. And no one in corporate media is going to like raise their hand and be like, you okay? You good, bro?
The corporate media.
What are we doing?
I'll tell you what they're doing. They're too busy on the Rothschild's yacht, leaving off the coast of Montenegro and sailing to Corfu, and then seeing an island in Albania and saying, "Papa, could that one be mine, Papa?" All right,
Tappers. He's busy writing the book, and the book's going to be out at the end of the term, and it's going to be on the president's health. It's going to be a sequel to the Biden book.
Sequel. You got to wait for it.
I thought it was going to be about Trump now. So
we got to really take our first break.
We're late.
When we come back, we got a lot to discuss. I'll show you Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Marco Rubio at their disastrous hearings. We'll talk more about what's going on the home front. We have a lot to discuss. A quick reminder: hit subscribe. Help us get to 7 million. We're so close to 7 million subscribers. Also, click join if you're able to become a member. Join right now. And if you're able to afford memberships, gift memberships to others. You can gift as many memberships as you can afford. Again, if you can't afford it, don't do it. It's just love to give access to people who can't afford memberships access. So give them memberships. They'll get access to the emojis and also the podcasts that we do that are members only podcasts. And then also go to store.MeidasTouch.com. Get the MeidasTouch gear at store.MeidasTouch.com. I want to remind you, we got a great merch store, store.MeidasTouch.com. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Summer always changes how I get dressed. I want pieces that feel lighter and more breathable, things that are easy but still put together. That's why I keep coming back to Quince. They focus on high quality essentials that feel and look amazing. Think breathable linen and soft organic cotton, well-made basics but without the luxury markup. It's that rare balance when everything feels elevated but still effortless. Quince European linen pants and shirts are the perfect warm weather upgrade to add to your rotation, starting at just $34. Their tees are soft and easy to wear, and their lightweight cotton sweaters are perfect for cooler summer nights. Everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middleman, so you're paying for quality, not brand markup. Quince goes way beyond clothing. Custom upholstered sofas, ceramic cookware, premium bedding. It's the kind of brand you end up recommending to everyone. Quince and linen shirts, those have been my go-to. Shout out Quince, man. Elevate your summer wardrobe. Go to quince.com/Meidas for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/Meidas for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Meidas. Dad's favorite seat in the house? The toilet. Upgrade his throne this Father's Day when you get him a Tushy bidet. I'm not going to gatekeep this. I love my Tushy bidet, and y'all need to lock in and grab yours today. Without giving TMI, I've never felt cleaner than after I used the Tushy bidet. I'm only mad I didn't grab mine sooner. The Tushy bidet transforms your bathroom wellness for life, gut to butt to bowl. 99% of people who wash with Tushy warm water bidets feel cleaner and fresher after going to the bathroom. This is a daily decadence with practical benefits. Over half of the people who wash with Tushy soothe their hemorrhoids, and 9 out of 10 people reduce itching and discomfort. Instead of wiping endlessly with toilet paper, Tushy pristinely removes 99% of bacteria while protecting your natural skin barrier thanks to one natural ingredient, fresh water. Installation is simple and takes about 10 minutes to complete. Literally, anyone can do it. People who have made the switch to Tushy use up to 80% less toilet paper. No more clogged toilets, no more wasting money on something that does an inferior job cleaning your body. Every Hello Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and a 12-month warranty. Stop guessing you're clean. Start feeling it. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code MeidasTouch at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code MeidasTouch. Let's go. Shout out to our sponsors. Links in description of both the YouTube and the audio. Use the codes. If there's an exit survey, let them know we sent you. Benji, where to next?
Why don't we go back to the Oval Office, though, just for one more moment over here? And I know, Brett, you showed the video. Do we have, you showed the photo. Do we have video of Donald Trump actually sleeping there? Yeah, you could see it there. And then each thing he said was kind of more deranged than the next at this press conference. Why don't we show you where, when he was actually saying things, he didn't realize that he's like, where's Chris? Like Chris Wright was like right behind him. Do we have that video where he's like, where's Chris? And it's like, right there, man. He's right behind you. He's the energy secretary. Here,
Better man than me for that one. Not in all ways you feel that, but in one way. In energy you do. And that was Chris, right? Yeah. Where's Chris?
Right here. Right behind you.
Well, he's a hard one to find. And Chris has done it.
What do you mean he's a hard one to find? He's right behind you. Then he starts saying things like, nobody's allowed to fix their car anymore, or like, I saved people who couldn't fix their cars and now you can fix cars again. I truly don't even know what's going on in this guy's mind. Here, let's play it.
And the job he's done is great. We had the auto industry in yesterday. They don't want people to fix their car. I said, that's strange. I've never heard of that. They have a thing to, nobody's allowed to fix their car. They gave a man 7 years in jail, actually, because he fixed his own car. So I thought we'd do something about that. But we'll get it all straightened away. Can you believe it? They want a bill that prohibits people from fixing. So if you're mechanically inclined, I grew up, I went to school with some guys that were.
Okay, then he talks about the Giants quarterback again, Jackson Dart, who introduced him at that weird MAGA event, and he got a lot of backlash from other NFL players for doing it. And here's what Trump has to say about Jackson Dart. Let's play it.
We had the quarterback, Jackson is the quarterback for the Giants. He's a big, strong guy. And I said, how do you think you do in women's sports, Jackson? He said, pretty good, sir. He didn't know I was joking. He was not worried, let me put it that way. He would have been the greatest athlete in the history of women's sports. You got to see the size of this guy. Like a male model, and he's going to be a great quarterback.
Okay. Is he reading that? Is he reading that off the page? Like, it looks like he's like legitimately reading a script for the folks who are watching. Did you see, like, he was looking at the paper? And also, real quick, when he was looking for Chris, it reminded me of that Indiana moment when he had the Indiana college football team, the Hoosiers, over there. They couldn't find Kurt Signegi. He's like, "Where's Kurt? Where's Kurt?" And Kurt's like right over his right shoulder.
It's been happening to him like all the time.
That keeps happening. It keeps happening.
He does it every day. And then also, I mean, I talked about this in some of the hot takes, like, who are these just ghouls behind him who are these like gremlin humans, like they're creatures, and they laugh at these things. Like, there's quite literally nothing funny about, like, honestly, if you were 5 years old, you know, and you were like boys have peepees and girls have like, I'm just, what are you like? You're grown men, and it's all mostly all men behind. Like, what's the humor in that?
It's legit like Dr. Evil and Austin Powers, where they all like look at each other and they're like,
so you've got that. And then perhaps even weirder, you know, you had MAGA Mike who did a press conference and he was being asked a lot of questions like, are you
could have just stopped that even weirder MAGA Mike.
Yeah, MAGA Mike, even weirder. You know, do you, you know, you're the Speaker of the House somehow. Bill Pulte, who's the head of Fannie and Freddie, for which he shouldn't be, and he runs some obscure housing agency that he's used to, like, anyone who Trump hates, he claims engages in mortgage fraud, and then these people get criminally prosecuted by the Trump regime. Now he's going to be running ODNI, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, and get access to all of this classified information. He's going to be the acting head of ODNI when the statute literally says that you passed the law. Congress passed the law saying you have to have extensive national security and intelligence background to be nominated for this. So even the nomination is a violation of the law. So MAGA Mike, what do you think? Well, but when you watch this and you listen, I want you to watch these ghouls behind him, because it's even worse than MAGA Mike. MAGA Mike, you'll hear, he'll be like, if the Democrats nominated Jesus, if we nominated Jesus, the Democrats wouldn't want Jesus. When you're nominating Jesus, well, you're nominating some shitheads. You're nominating some real crappy humans. You're not nominating Jesus. And then you'll see that Congresswoman McClain, like, she's a ghoul. She's a weird freaking human. And she's like, and I'm watching, I'm like, who are these? I'm like, just who are these humans? have I lost my damn mind that these people have positions of power? These are like the most bizarre and dangerous humans. Here, watch this clip. Let's play it.
Could you pass FISA without Democrats? The answer:
the Democrats wouldn't trust Jesus.
He hasn't been nominated.
There's not a single person. He hasn't been nominated.
But do you? I mean, how do you handle this if you can't have Democratic votes?
They're playing political games, Jake. The Democrats are not willing to do anything, even the most simple, basic, important responsibility to keep the American people safe, because they want to make life hard for the president.
This is another version of what we said in the first half of the show about Montenegro and Cafu and Albania and the Rothschilds. Yes, he's speaking the language that I speak, English, but they're laughing. I don't know what they're laughing at. I truly feel utterly detached from whatever that existence is. If you're like me and you're listening to this and you're watching this, I hope you feel like, whoa, what the? I hope you don't think that that's normal. I don't know.
Can I also tell you what would actually happen here? And under MAGA Mike's Jesus scenario, if Republicans nominated Jesus, they would deport him. The Republicans would deport him, calling him a Middle Eastern radical. They would call him a socialist for feeding the poor and healing the sick.
Jesus is the most woke.
They would brand him they would call him a snowflake for loving thy neighbor. They'd call him woke. They call all the names. That's what the Republicans would do if Jesus so happened to be a candidate here. It wouldn't be the Democrats who would be upset, ironically, throughout all of this.
What are you, trans Jesus, man? You six genders, man? You got six genders, Jesus?
Six genders.
You got six genders, Jesus?
Do people know what's going on with that, by the way? And I saw this theory, and it's 100% right. You know how Trump and the Republicans in Texas, like, they have nothing to say about Talarico, so they just and their candidate's awful, so they just go Talafrico. He's got six genders. And what somebody put together online, which is 100% true, is that Donald Trump heard somebody say the word cisgender and say that Talarico is cisgender or something to that effect. And Donald Trump heard six genders. And so now anytime Donald Trump speaks about Talarico, he goes, he's cisgender. He's cisgender. Because he's done this before. Was there another example?
Asylum. Brett, asylum.
Asylum. So yeah, he heard somebody say immigrants getting asylum, and then he thought that meant that they were being let out of insane asylums. A lot of the stuff Trump says is because, like, when it comes to things like that, very stupid, very dumb guy. But he repeats it with confidence, like he's this brilliant guy. And then he has all those people behind him that Ben keeps pointing out who go, "Oh yes, sir, asylum. Oh yes, six genders. Oh yes, they're transing the mice. Let's print out the signs. They're transing."
What do you got, Talarico? You got some soy coming out of your nipples, Talarico. I'm like, ew. What are you talking? Have you heard what these guys say? You got some. He produces some soy out of those nipples. I'm like, okay, you guys are some. I don't know what goes on in your MAGA weirdo minds, but let me explain to you what's happening in America right now. Okay, Americans can't afford rent. Americans can't afford gas. Americans can't afford groceries. Americans can't afford anything. Americans have lost their health care. You're ripping away Medicaid from people. Americans are psychologically tortured by all the crap you continue to overwhelm them with every day. Americans see the genocide that this regime is complicit in. They see these never-ending wars taking place. They see all of this happening, and Americans are fed up. And you're out there like again, I don't even want to compare you to a bunch of bully toddlers because they behave far more mature than this. I'm trying to think like when I went to elementary school and the biggest bullies and the weirdest things that they said weren't this weird. And now we have grown-ups who don't behave as grown-ups, and it gets normalized through, oh, well, this is the Republican Party and this is the Democrat and here's the polls. I'm like, we need to start with a kind of threshold understanding that this Trump MAGA thing is not normal. Like none of this is normal or should be acceptable discourse for grown-ups. Like that's to me the biggest thing when I watch clip after clip after clip of this. Anyway, that may just be me. You know, that I'll just show you one more. And Trump's main thing that he wants to talk about is the promenade at the Lincoln Memorial. Like we're doing Lincoln Memorial promenades after reflecting for pools, arches, ballrooms. Oh, let me add this quickly. Guess who? While Russia's bragging about a $28 billion nuclear deal with Iran. Pretty big deal, huh? Like it's kind of like giving Trump the middle finger. You have Kirill Dmitriev, Russia's envoy to the United States, announcing private-public partnerships between the U.S. and Russia to build tunnels from Alaska to Russia. And you have the head of Donald Trump's stooge from his arts commission or whoever approves the ballroom and all of these things, going to the St. Petersburg Economic Conference, which is like Putin's version to compete with Davos. It's like Putin's thing of all the BRICS nations show up. So we had the ballroom guy show off Donald Trump's ballroom to Putin and everybody there. That's what was going on in the past 24 hours. You had Trump's lackey in Russia showing off the ballroom at the Russian Economic Forum. But here's Donald Trump.
While Iran is cutting a nuclear deal.
Iran is cutting a $28 billion nuclear deal with Russia, while Russia is using hypersonic missiles to kill dozens of civilians in Kyiv. That's
priorities. Trump had to show off his ballroom.
But let me show you what he says about this Lincoln Memorial Promenade. Again, this is the language. Like, I get it. He is speaking the language of English. I understand it. But it's like, what we need is a promenade and a Lincoln Memorial Promenade, Corfu, and the Rothschild. Like, call me completely disconnected from all of this crap. I go, what's he saying? What did he just say? Does it have anything to do with anything that any American is experiencing right now? No. Okay. Got it. Here, play this clip.
We're doing something that just came up. We'll have a little breaking news here because nobody's heard of it. But at the Lincoln Memorial, the front was supposed to be the back. The back was supposed to be the front. It never got built because they built 2 roadways behind it after it was built, and it shut off the gateway to the water. That was really going to be the main entry, and we're going to be doing that. It's called the Promenade. It'll be the Promenade. They want to call it the Trump Promenade, but I don't know if I want to do that. But it's going to be beautiful. It's a beautiful project, and it's going to take the Lincoln Memorial right down to the Potomac.
I can't get these Sopranos, and now I know people like it, out of my mind, but you've got his little gangsters behind him. I'm going to build a promenade, okay? They're going to call, I'm not sure I want to call it the Soprano Promenade. I'm going to call it the Trump. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. What should I do?
Everyone's lives would be so vastly improved if his parents just encouraged his love for decorating when he was a kid, rather than this. I wish he pursued a career in decoration. I wish he pursued design, something. You could even
literally anything else.
Anything else. I would honestly, if you said he would step down as president and we're going to make him the lead decorator of Washington, D.C., the city, let's do it. It sounds great. Decorate away.
The more I watch those clips, I didn't pick this up on the first watch, but now that we're playing them here on the pod, it really does look like he's reading from the papers, like even as he's trying to remember these stories. I'm not trying to dabble in conspiracies here, but when you watch him look down, it looks like he's literally reading off these papers. I see people in the comments agreeing here, and it's pretty striking when you actually watch this one.
I think his eyes are also heavy in addition to that. So it's hard to tell. Is he looking down or his eyes shut?
They say that's also another symptom of dementia.
Yeah. Not sleeping is actually a bad thing.
Fall asleep
you should
during
sleep.
the day, and you're up at weird hours at night. I mean, it fits all of that.
Yeah. Bragging about Dr. Oz the other day. He takes dementia tests every day. He aces it all the time. He aces it every day. He loves taking the tests.
He loves taking it.
It's like saying, Jordy. Oh, he's a great guy. He passes his sobriety test every day. Every day he passes another sobriety test. I'm out there bragging. I passed it with fly. I walked a straight line. They said it was the most straight line ever.
Hey, at least his name's coming off the Kennedy Center, and they confirmed that there's a leaked memo today that says it's coming down. It's got to come off of all of the various merchandise that they have. It's going to come off the building. They have a deadline of June 12th, I believe, to get it off the building, and all the letterheads and all of that. And so I'm curious to see, do they wait to the last day to do it, or do they do it before? Either way, I want to see if we could get some cameras out there and do a little live stream of it coming down. If we can, we will see. I'll let you know if we're able to pull that off.
Yeah, well, Court of Appeals Judge Ludig, who appears frequently on the MeidasTouch network and on Legal AF, he gave us an exclusive comment about how the federal judiciary is finally asserting itself, and how, the federal judiciary, it took a while, but is actually doing its job for the first time. And I think we've seen, and we've been covering on Legal AF and here, some of these major orders here's what he said to us. The tectonic plates, this is from Judge Ludig, this guy was a Federalist Society guy. This guy was the judge in the Court of Appeals who everybody worked for before the kind of Trump MAGA movement. If you were going to become kind of like a right-wing, I don't want to say like normal, but like this was like the path. There was like liberal versions of him, and he was like the conservative guy. But he's a conservative guy who cares about the country, and he's like George H.W. Bush kind of conservative guy. And his statement was, the tectonic plates of American politics have at last shifted, seemingly suddenly and overnight, but these plates of America's politics have actually been shifting inexorably and indetectable every single day for the past 18 months. There is no mistaking that the federal judiciary, the federal courts of the United States have brought about this inevitable end to this president's war on the federal judiciary, the Constitution, and the rule of law in America, and with it, the effective end to his presidency. It's powerful words by Judge Luding right there. But when we come back, I want to share with you some of these congressional hearings and what went down, calling out Donald Trump's cognitive and physical decline. We'll share that with you. We'll show you just, how these Trump sycophants are reacting to all of this. And then we'll talk briefly about this Trump canceling this concert that was going to take place in late June. Also, Donald Trump wants to go to the Knicks game. He says he's going to go to Madison Square Garden, Game 3. No. Can you imagine? Like, what do you think the chants are going to be? Is it going to be Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein? You think they're going to do a Jeffrey Epstein chant at the Madison Square Garden?
I tell you, like the Knicks series right now is like the one thing in my life that's not politics related that Trump has not infested, and this asshole has to get a stink all over it. Like, I thought I could cruise through the series, just root on the Knicks and watch some basketball and forget about all this stuff. But of course.
You think we get a lock him up chant or a Jeffrey Epstein? Lock him up. What do you think they do in the Garden? I think they may go lock him up.
I think it's going to be pretty vicious.
I think it's going to be lock him up.
It's going to whatever.
Maybe we do a poll, Brett, on our YouTube, and we ask people, if he goes to Game 3, will the chance be Jeffrey Epstein, lock him up, or then they could fill in miscellaneous? Anyway, let's take our last quick break of the show. Everybody, subscribe. Help us get to 7 million subscribers. We're so close to hitting 7 million subscribers. Also, become a member of our YouTube channel. That helps our network grow. And if you can afford a membership and you can afford to gift memberships to others, gift those memberships to others, because then you can give them access to the emojis and the members-only podcasts and our bonus features. All right. Also, store.MeidasTouch.com. Check it out. Thanks, everybody. We're really enjoying the show. We've got a lot more show. Don't you go anywhere. Let's take our last quick break.
You've heard us talk about OneSkin before, and whether you're someone who tries every new skincare product that hits the market, or you've been using the same one or two things for years, at some point, most of us realize our skin just isn't keeping up the way it used to. That's what OneSkin changed for me. It didn't just make my existing routine better, it actually works differently than anything else I've tried. I've been using the OneSkin face moisturizer, and what stands out most is how my skin feels day after day. It's smoother, more hydrated, and it just looks healthier overall. What surprised me is that the improvement wasn't some overnight miracle. It's been the consistency over time. My skin simply looks and feels better than it did before, and that's something I've not experienced with most skincare products. As we age, some skin cells stop functioning the way they should. Longevity scientists call them zombie cells, and that's what's actually driving those visible signs of aging. OneSkin's OS1 peptide was specifically engineered to address those cells, so you're getting everything you expect from great skincare, with OS1 doing something most skincare was never built to do. And this isn't just my experience. OneSkin's results are backed by 4 peer-reviewed clinical studies, over 10,000 5-star reviews, and they've been recognized by Bloomberg as a leader in skin longevity. You really don't need a complicated routine to get healthier, younger-looking skin. Born from over a decade of longevity research, OneSkin's OS1 peptide is proven to target visible signs of aging, helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code Meidas at oneskin.co/Meidas. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code Meidas, MEIDAS. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. You know what's easier than fixing a problem? Not having the problem in the first place. Your liver is one of those organs that you don't think about until you have to. Supporting it daily is one of those small things that can make a huge difference in how you feel overall, and that's where Dose comes in. Dose for your liver is a clinically backed liver health supplement. This isn't just another capsule or powder. Dose is a liquid supplement. It's taken in a daily 2-ounce shot, and it tastes like fresh squeezed orange juice. Here's why it matters. Your liver is your body's filter. It processes everything you consume and handles over 500 plus daily functions: energy production, digestion, fat metabolism, vitamin storage. When your liver is overworked, you feel it. Dose helps cleanse the liver of unwanted stressors that may be slowing your liver down, and it promotes daily liver function so that your liver can do its job. 0 sugar, 0 junk, 0 calories. And when you take Dose daily, you're going to reduce sluggishness, get rid of those midday crashes, support your metabolism, and even aid your daily digestion. Plus, this is the real deal. There are 2 double-blind placebo-controlled studies showing Dose's positive impact on liver enzyme levels. Are you ready to give your liver the support it deserves? Head to dosedaily.co/Meidas or enter Meidas to get 35% off your first subscription. Your body does so much for you. Let's do something for it. That's dosedaily.co/Meidas, MEIDAS, for 35% off your first month subscription.
Let's go. Shout out to our sponsors. Links in description, both the YouTube and the audio. Use the links, use the codes. If there's an exit survey, let them know we sent you. Trump better not show up to MSG, brothers. I didn't get to speak right before break. He better not show up. He better not ruin this. We've waited our whole lives for this moment. Plus, it's really not his crowd. So I'm like, New York hates it. Like, New York does not F with Trump the way, he could waltz his way into maybe some of these other, stadiums or whatever and do the propaganda thing. It's not going to be that type of reaction. I'm telling you right now. So it's like, there's nowhere to really hide too. Cause like the boxes at MSG aren't like really like boxes from what I understand, because it's like an arena that does like heavy music and all of that. So from like a gameplay perspective, like if you're there to actually see the game, like you're out there with the people if you want a good view. And he's a coward. That's not his crowd.
His only hope, and I shouldn't even suggest this, but like he'd have to wear like a Knicks hat, a Knicks jersey, Knicks shorts, which he'd always wear a stupid suit. So I'm not giving, but you'd have to like drape yourself. You'd have to be holding 2 Knicks things. You'd have to maybe put a sticker on you, like big Knick fan.
As
like,
he comes out, they take out like a World War II veteran.
You'd have to be holding, veterans wearing Knick outfits. 93. You'd have to be interlocked. Yeah, he'd have to be wearing. The only way he doesn't get booed is he'd have to be wearing an entire Knick jersey, Knick hat, Knick fan. The sticker would have to say "Boo if you want the Knicks to lose."
Right.
And then he'd have to be holding hands with 2 92-year-old World War II veterans, also dressed in Knick outfits with stickers that say "Only boo if you want the Knicks to lose." Strategically, he'd have to create that type of blockade against the booing if he was hoping to negotiate a way out of the booing right here. In any event, let's just get right to it. The reality is I think if he goes, it's going to be a disaster. I don't want him there at all. I don't want him anywhere at all. Just get that. Stay the hell out of sports. Stay the hell out of everything. And I just want grown-ups. I just want adults. In any event, let's just talk briefly about this open letter that Zelensky just published. I'll do a whole other hot take on the letter itself, but I thought this line to Putin, it's an open letter, and here's what Zelensky says to Putin. "We have heard that you were promised in Alaska the resolution of certain issues concerning Ukraine and Europe, but you can see for yourself that Ukrainian and European issues are not decided in Anchorage." It's powerful stuff right there. And he's saying, we now know through our intelligence network that Donald Trump promised you that he was going to hand you Europe, the end of NATO, Ukraine on a platter. Remember what we were saying back then, what Trump told Putin? We get the West, you get Europe, China gets Asia, and then we can kind of fight over, we can share Africa, we can share some of these other, but that was basically the deal. And Trump doesn't care about Africa. Trump just wants Western Hemisphere and control the entire hemisphere and Greenland. Trump, we get Western Hemisphere, Greenland. You get Europe and China, you get Asia and Africa, and Russia, you can have a little bit of Africa. That was the deal. That's what they discussed. There are other countries, though, who have a say in this. And that's what Zelensky is saying right there. I want to go, though, to these congressional hearings so you can see for yourself what was going down. These are some powerful hearings right here. So first, let me show you from earlier today, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He appeared before a House committee. And I want you to watch as Democratic Congress member Larson asked them a very simple question. Are we currently at war? Let's watch it.
Are we at
up
war
twice that much
currently?
every year under the Biden administration.
Are we at war currently?
The conflict has been halted.
The conflict has been halted. So we're not at war. So our military is not involved. We're not at war.
Again, if you would like for me to call the Secretary of War, I can ask. I'm the Secretary
So
of
as part of the
Treasury.
administration and as part of this, we're not at war. How in God's name, if we can't answer any questions at all, and I don't know, maybe there were some special orders where we're not allowed to these questions or not, we ought to make that clear. Are we at war or not? I'm asking as relation to the cost of going up for oil and gas. That hasn't risen.
Well,
has it risen because of the war?
It did rise because of the conflict, yes.
Okay. And we all know by now that there was the United States strikes on Hormuz. Iran responded by striking in Kuwait. The military airbase and the commercial airport are right next to each other in Kuwait. If you were wondering, like, where they're like literally located in the same area. And we saw the international terminal destroyed by Iran, and we saw the airbase significantly damaged by Iran when CENTCOM claimed that didn't happen. They said all of the drones and ballistic missiles were intercepted by Kuwait, the United States, and Bahrain, and nothing hit anything. And then CENTCOM had to admit it. And so it's like, you just, because the video surfaced, and then it's like, okay, I've been saying this for a while now. I think I was early money on this. That CENTCOM, I remember 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was like, I'll tell you what's really upsetting me. The fact that CENTCOM has fallen. You know, and that Brad Cooper guy, Admiral Cooper, I'm like, ugh. When I saw that guy start to do the whole MAGA shtick, I'm like, damn, that's really bad, because I at least was hoping that CENTCOM can give us accurate data. And just think, even right now, they're still covering up the slaughter of the little elementary school girls in Manab. Like, they know the answer. Just think that if they're covering that up and they're covering up Epstein files, just think of what the lengths to which they'll go. Anyway, back to Bessent over here. Some cross-examination by Congresswoman Sanchez. We could play this clip.
Mr. Secretary, do you believe that all Americans should follow our tax laws?
Yes, Congressman.
Yes, good. So do I. And do you believe that for those Americans who break our tax laws, they should be audited or held accountable?
Well, I think there are two things there. An audit is not a result of breaking the law.
Yes or no? Simple question.
Well, no, it's not a simple question. It's
okay,
a two-part
then
question.
let me break it into two. Do you think they should?
If you're asking
please
me,
don't
should every
interrupt
taxpayer
me.
be audited?
Please answer that. I came here for answers. If you came here to waste time, I'm going to try to make sure you don't do that. Do you believe that people who lie on their tax returns should be audited?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that people who break our laws should be held accountable, our tax laws?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Very simple. Not a hard question. No. I'm glad we agree. So why is it that you are allowing President Trump to have complete immunity from being audited?
Again, I'm going to have to refer you to my previous statements. And
what was your previous statement, sir?
That I am unable to comment on any of the ongoing litigation.
Okay, can you name the ongoing case concerning President Trump's immunity from audit?
Sorry?
Can you name?
There are 3 cases.
Can you name them, please?
That are out there now, and I will be happy to get back to you on those, because again, I am not a lawyer.
Okay.
Wait, We are represented by the DOJ.
Great. You said that you can't because there's ongoing litigation. You'll get me the name of the ongoing litigation, because the only ongoing litigation that I know of is surrounding the $1.8 million slush fund, which has already been suspended. The fact is that the judge's ruling in the litigation.
I know Besant probably is much more comfortable on the Rothschild yacht going to Corfu, spotting islands in Albania, than answering very basic questions like that. I'll let Bray give the commentary there.
What commentary?
What'd you say?
It was two pictures of Scott Bessent.
Yeah, no, there it goes. I just see Besant and Besant. And then he's asked by Chu, not who, he's asked by Chu, do you agree with Trump that you also do not care about America's financial situation? Let's play it.
Do you agree with President Trump that you also do not care about Americans' financial situations?
Congresswoman, who was the president during World War I?
Can you,
No,
are you refusing to answer my question?
No, I'm asking, who was the president during World War I?
I don't know, but clearly you are not answering my question.
You don't know who the president during World War I was. But let me tell you.
So I'm clearly getting the idea that you do not want to answer whether you agree with President Trump that you do not care about Americans' financial situations.
President Trump does care about Americans' financial situation.
Well, he actually said that he doesn't.
No, that is a truncated thing, like everything is, that he is future-proofing, because I can tell you Americans' financial situations would be devastated if Iran got a nuclear weapon and there was a permanent shutdown of the flow of energy out of the Middle East.
Americans' financial situation will be devastated by this fictional scenario that I just created here that we have saved you from. And so you're welcome.
Just ask me a question. I'll be like,
hold on. What are these Epstein class of words? These future proofing. What is he even saying? What is he up there saying, Ben?
Future proofing. Jordy, pretend you're a Congress member and just ask me.
Ben, President Trump says he doesn't care about Americans' financial problems right now. Do you agree?
Who was the president during the Spanish-American War?
No, sir, that's not the question I'm asking. I'm asking you to answer the question whether you believe that Trump is right in his assertion that he should not care about the American people's financial status right now.
Name me the governor during the California gold rush. It's like a game. I'm struggling. What are we talking about? Are we doing Jeopardy? Are you Ken Jennings?
They're seriously,
you're there to answer.
It's truncated. It's a truncated response. What are you talking about? You're
sticking
using words, but Trump said the whole thing with his chest. He said it. It was clear as day. Why are you providing cover? I mean, I know why you are, but isn't it just so pathetic that we see our quote unquote leaders acting like this?
I'll just give you this in all context. I'm just going to show you that's Brooke Rollins cross-examination by Democratic Congresswoman Angie Craig, who says, do you understand the difference between error rates and fraud in SNAP? Do you know what your own numbers say? Because the SNAP program has the least amount of fraud in it than any program. And if you come to think about it, doesn't that make sense? Because who's really out? The fraud would be getting food stamps in order to buy the bare threshold of nutritious sustenance. So who's really going out there and going, okay, here's my scam. I'm going to try to buy apple juice and I am going to scam the government out of some bread and a bologna and a piece of bologna. I understand why in a system like Medicaid, not from the recipients of Medicaid, from purported operators who are doing fraudulent billing of Medicaid with fake patients, why in something like that there would be fraud. Who was involved in that? I don't know. MAGA Republican Senator Rick Scott and people who Donald Trump pardoned, who ran clinics and companies that purportedly provided services to low-income Americans who then sought reimbursement at either excessive rates, duplicative rates, or for phantom patients. That's where you have a lot of fraud, and there's a lot of criminal prosecution. That's why MAGA Republican Senator Scott had to invoke the fifth the way he did over and over again, and that's why so many people were convicted, and Trump has pardoned a lot of Medicaid fraud people. It doesn't usually happen, though, at the level of somebody getting the healthcare services, because you're not getting a blank check to get it. It goes to the provider. Now, if the provider enters into a conspiracy with you and then kicks you back the money that they get, that's an elaborate scheme where that usually is not what's happening at the patient level, although arguably but most people who receive Medicaid or Medicare or other types of health care, they're getting a surgery that needs to be done that's kind of verifiable if they got the surgery or they got the treatment to begin with. And so that's why the fraud amounts are less for a SNAP recipient. But when Trump's idea of waste, fraud, and abuse is actually let the people who engage in waste, fraud, and abuse off. That's why, according to all accounts, there's been 18% more waste, fraud, and abuse under Trump than the year before. Doge has had the opposite effect, but go after the people who really need the services and need the food assistance and say that they're the con artists, not the oligarch Epstein class who are going to Corfu and taking Albanian islands while actually defrauding the government. Here, watch this clip of as Congresswoman Angie Craig cross-examines Rollins.
But we are now. It did go up almost 90% under the Biden years. So even though we're hitting record numbers,
reclaiming my time. You are in power. You own this entire town.
This is
Madam Secretary. Do you know what reclaiming my time?
Okay, I just ask you not to be so rude. I mean, I'd really like to have a legitimate conversation.
Do you know what percentage of farmers now say they can't afford fertilizer for this year as a result of the president's war in Iran?
Well, it depends on the geographic location.
Oh my
the
God!
Southeast,
70% is the answer across
those are not
the country.
The numbers. That's not correct.
Madam Secretary, do you know what the SNAP fraud rate actually is according to the most recent estimates from USDA? The fraud rate.
Well, that is based on data we're receiving from the states that we can't verify. That's the whole point of this, is we have no ability to verify California, Minnesota, where the fraud has been
reclaiming my time. It was 1.6% according to USDA.
Your state is saying we only have 1.6% fraud rate, which we all know is an absolute joke.
I'll say it again. The USDA's own data found 1.6%. I don't know.
No, we were relying on your data from Minnesota,
and you
understand
the difference between error rates and fraud rates. I honestly don't. It is one of the lowest fraud rate in any program in America is the SNAP program.
The lowest fraud rate of any program in America is the SNAP program? You can't be serious when you say.
You can't be serious. Well, you can't be serious. What do you think? There are just so many people going around who are saying we need food stamps so desperately that we're going to commit fraud on the government so that we can eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Let me put it in perspective for a second, all right? Trump has pardoned people. He's commuted people's sentences, fraudsters who have stolen tons and tons of money from people. He's wiped out about $2 billion in victim repayment money that was going to go to the victims. Gone, not going to the victims because Donald Trump pardoned these people or commuted these people. Now, I want you to think about the $2 billion number, and now I want you to think about how much SNAP costs, how much SNAP is per month for an individual. I looked it up. The average SNAP payment per person is about $188 per month. So for $2 billion of payments that Donald Trump has wiped out in fraud repayments, that right there alone could actually account for over 10,638,297 people's SNAP payments. So yes, there is a whole lot of fraud going on. The fraudsters are the people in the White House, and they are going after the people who are living off the crumbs right now. And then they have the nerve to attack them and not the people who, and then give these rewards actually to the people who are committing this mass scale fraud to the tune of billions and billions of dollars.
And then if I'll leave you with this, I mean, I've shown this clip before, but we have to include it on a MeidasTouch episode. It's Congressmember Ted Lieu's cross-examination of Rubio, where he literally shows the video of Donald Trump sleeping. And he asks Rubio, is he sleeping? And Rubio goes, no, that video doesn't show him sleeping. And we all see him sleeping in the video. And you remember, Brett, Jordy, what was that thing where it was like, where you'd like look at the dress and some people would see like gold and then
the blue dress, black dress?
No, was it the gold and white, or was it
whatever it was? You know, some people saw this, some people saw that. Yeah. Like for me,
I was at a Knicks game when that heater dropped, whenever that was. I was at a Knicks game. So just bring it full circle. Sorry.
Bring it full circle. But to me, and it's not though that it's not that have to be. It's that you are denying the reality. The reality is, as we showed you earlier, Donald Trump slept today in the Oval Office. He slept yesterday in the Oval Office. Every single appearance, he falls asleep. Every single one. Now he falls asleep, not closes his eyes and, just to rest them. Okay. That's also called sleeping. He is like in borderline REM sleep. I mean, I'm not just saying this to be hyperbolic. Oh, Donald Trump sleep. Blah, blah, blah. No, he's like literally sleeping. And that's dangerous. And the world is looking at it. The world is saying, man, you have an ill. You have like a real psychologically, cognitively, physically ill human being in the Oval Office who is delusional, who lives in an imaginary world, and he has this cult that goes around and pretends like this is normal, and they want to bend our collective reality into accepting this. And then they have a $1 trillion media apparatus that beams this stuff and and filters it through a lens of normalcy. And I'm like, what the hell what do we do? What the hell? So let's just watch this clip together. You've seen it before. I have to show it in this episode. So let's just play it.
If Donald Trump cannot stay awake at these important meetings where the cameras are rolling, imagine what he's like when the cameras are not there. So I'm going to ask you, have you been at classified meetings where Donald Trump has fallen asleep or had trouble staying awake?
I've never been at any meeting where and the things you're showing me now, he was not falling asleep. And I think
so. You're lying again. You're lying consistently to Congress.
About sleep.
You're lying to Congress, Secretary Rubio. So I'm going to show you another video in a moment.
Okay, and he shows the video of Donald Trump sleeping that we all see, and then Rubio
pulled a Ben. He said, "Play the clip."
He's not. Do we have the other one of Lou, Brett? There's the other one of him where he just shows the clip. I mean, there was that one, but then there's another clip of Lou. If we
Secretary Rubio, have you been at more than one meeting where President Trump has fallen asleep?
That's false. That's false. I've never seen him fall asleep. On the contrary, the guy doesn't sleep, which is a big problem because he calls me at 2 a.m. He calls me at 5 a.m. And, I like to sleep a little bit, maybe not 12 hours, but at least 6. So he works. The other day he was at the Oval Office until 12:30 p.m. 12:30 a.m. I don't know what you're talking about.
Secretary Rubio, I'm going to show you in a moment a video that shows you just lied to Congress.
Oh, okay.
So this is a video of a cabinet meeting literally from last month where Donald Trump is sleeping while you are talking. Please show this video.
Coalition of countries that line up behind the peace deal, behind the border peace, and it's still every day is a challenge, but it's been driven personally by the president. It's the reason why we're involved in this whole Ukraine-Russia conflict. That's not our war. It's not the president's war. This war started. It never would have happened if you'd been president. But this war is going on, and the president is trying to end it.
You are literally talking about issues of war and peace, and Donald Trump is sleeping right next to you.
No, he's not.
If Donald Trump cannot stay awake at these important meetings where the cameras are rolling, imagine what he's like when the cameras are not there. So I'm going to ask you, have you been at classified meetings where Donald Trump has fallen asleep or had trouble staying awake?
I've never been at any meeting where, and the things you're showing me now, he was not falling asleep. And
So-
I think
so
it's
you're
outrageous
lying
that I'm before the
again?
foreign-
I'll leave it at that. There doesn't
Like
even need-
Rubio's, I'm going to show you that you were relying on Earth. Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, okay. Also, dude, Rubio, it's not the flex you think it is when you say that Trump is calling you at 2 a.m., 5 a.m. I mean, these are symptoms of dementia. When
Yeah,
you
these are
can't
not
have
these are not good
normal
signs.
wake periods. I mean,
All right, everybody. I want to say thanks to everybody for watching the MeidasTouch podcast. Thanks for being here. We covered a whole lot today, and we'll be a lot more content on the way. We got Ben's got Legal AF this weekend, as always. Check it out. Saturday Live. We'll be back with more episodes of the MeidasTouch podcast on the audio feed, kind of throughout the day. So make sure you check that out on the audio feed. Make sure you subscribe to us on Substack, MeidasPlus.com. Make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel as well. Sometimes you think you are, but you're not, because it's just feeding you the videos. So check it out. Thank you again. Appreciate it. Jordy, take it away.
Shout out to the Meidas Mighty.
Standing strong against the fascists, we sing our song. We will get it right whenever.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.